Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a pre-recorded version of Talking Craps. Earlier this week I told everybody about my Bell's palsy, and of course I'm going to be battling that for some weeks to some months to come. But I still want to put content out there. Now, what I've decided to do is go back to some of my earlier episodes and take out the best of clips. And what I'm going to be doing is creating a best of series on Talking Craps. Sort of a condensed Cliff Notes version, and in case you haven't seen some of the earlier stuff, this is going to be a good opportunity for you to catch the best parts of it. So I'm going to start today with my good friend George from CY. He was my very first guest, a good friend of mine. He's done quite a bit for the Craps Nation, and if you don't know him, here's a great way to get introduced. All right, so tonight we have a very special guest. My good friend George from CY has agreed to be the first guest on this new talk show that I'm putting together. George, welcome to the show.
I'm grateful to be here with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so tonight we're just going to do a little Q&A type session with you. And normally I would be live in this case, but George is in a different time zone, and different continent, and different part of the world. So when this airs, it'll probably be around 2 or 3 in the morning his time. So we're definitely going to be recording this and putting it out for the future. So George, let's start digging into a few things, and let's start out with why you got interested in the game. What was your trigger? What attracted you to craps?
All right. Very long story. I used to only play something like roulette, European roulette, whenever I used to go to Vegas. I started going to Vegas for business. I was part of this NATP, this is what it's called, NATP, National Association of Television Producers and Executives. I used to specialize in TV and media. I'm in financial services, but basically I used to specialize in that. So my clients used to fly me over to buy content, basically for their TV stations. And NATP used to be hosted in Vegas at the time. So I got to start playing, some games. So I stuck with roulette, which was quite familiar to me, European roulette, with only 1 0. So during my time there, I met some other Greek people, not from Cyprus, from Greece, mainland Greece, and they loved the game of craps. And they said to me, why don't you try it out? I said, I haven't got a clue. It just looks so difficult because you can see all these bets out there and you don't know what they mean. And if you ask the average guy, this is what they would say, simply because, it just looks so complicated. And in fact, the only way to actually understand the game is to play the game. That's the only way I started playing the game, is by actually throwing the dice. Now, the first time I threw the dice, I threw them randomly. I made a lot of money for everybody at the table. And you get this feeling that you're the hero, and it's addictive. The next time I threw the dice, everybody was very angry with me because it was a very short roll. So I tried to, relive the first throw. It never happened. So basically, I came back to Cyprus and I said, well, I'll try it one more time. Next time over there, again random, but this time I did well, didn't lose money. And then after that, the next visit, I think it was 2005, I lost quite a bit of money. And when I came back, I started looking into different things, how to become better and all that. And I started, watching everything that there was out there on YouTube. Everything, I mean everything. And at the time, there wasn't a lot of material out there. Bits and pieces, Coca Ninja, Garrison, I think, was out there at the time. But most of all, I think, was golden touch. And I kept replaying and replaying the same videos over and over, trying to get a better understanding of that. When I started throwing with the hardware set, first of all, I didn't have a table, a plastic table. It was just, on an old desk without any felt, nothing there. I had the dice that you use for backgammon. I didn't even have dice which have sharp edges. And I was, throwing and throwing and throwing, pretending. So at some point I thought, yeah, let's get a bit more serious. And to be honest with you, the first person out of this thing that he said his thing that stuck in my mind. I want a journey. He says, I want a journey to understand this game better. And it struck a chord because I was also on a journey. And from him, I saw some comments from 36 Foot Press, got to watch his channel. Then Bone Thrower, I think Road Gambler was coming out with actual casino action and things like that. So I thought I'd better invest in something which resembles a table. So I bought this felt from Amazon. I still have it.
If I'm not mistaken, it's right behind you. I can see it on your screen.
And I got one plastic table that we use when we have a lot of guests, and it's a foldable table. And I set that down in my office, and I started throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing hard ways. Any hard ways under the sun, and taking notes in A4 paper, notes and notes and notes. Then I put them on Excel, and I said, well, which hard way set is working better for me, less sevens? And I couldn't realize a lot of things that I know now. And, thinking back, I must have been really stupid, but I didn't realize a lot of things that people actually, take for granted, that any hardware set, the 7 is going to come from, whether it's a 4-2, a 3-5, 3-5, it's going to come. A double pitch is a double pitch by any other name.
Right.
So I did not know that. And it took me a lot longer than the average person to come to realize stupid things, because I wasn't really looking at the dice. I wasn't really understanding mechanics of the dice. So we're doing all these things simply because we have an endless passion for this game, for this frustrating game. So
that's a great point to bring us to today. There's a group of players out there that have self-identified as the Craps Nation, and you have been there from the very beginning and helped establish and shape and send it on the journey that it's on today. I know of over 100 people right now that are part of this nation. It's just a loose term, that binds us all together. But you have done more for this game than I think most people realize. You mentioned live fantasy craps, but in addition to that, you've created promotional videos. You've produced the very first live fantasy crap shows. You spent your own money to create the website that hosts these virtual tables. You spent time creating tracking software. There's no end to the things that you do for this game and for this community. So on behalf of the community, I have to say thank you. I've benefited tremendously from the pioneering spirit that you have. You've blazed the way in many ways for these live videos and for the game itself. So what can I say other than thank you, George? Thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of these group of players called the Craps Nation.
I think my idea, and I always put this out there, is that I wanted to create a network. It's not just a casual craps chat channel. I see when people have problems, we step in. we step up, we try to help each other. And this is an amazing, thing that I didn't foresee that coming. I didn't see that coming at all. You see everybody saying, if you see something, say something, in the sense that, if you can help somebody become better at his game, we do it. And we do it for free. And it's,
I
it's just amazing.
have to tell a little bit of a personal story here with uh, maybe 3 or 4 months ago we were on a game, me and you and Bird Dog 301, and Bird Dog
Yep.
dubs you as the mechanic. In fact, in your little tagline down below, I have George from CY is the mechanic, and
Yeah.
that's a testament to the practice that you've put in this entire year. If you go to George's YouTube video and scroll all the way down to the bottom, you're going to be able to find some of his early videos, and then you watch one from today, and I'm going to put a screenshot from today's game. You can see the technology difference that George has brought to the game. The tracking spreadsheets, the chats, the multiple view cameras, and things like that. But where I'm going with this is that fact that you were dubbed the mechanic because of your knowledge and your skill uh, uh, with these little cubes that we like to throw against the back wall. And
Yeah.
yeah, so and how that relates to your story there is that you are sought after to George. What dice set should I use? What grip should I use? Am I using too much force? And you've always been there with comments and say, try this, adjust that, and like you said, it's all for free. It's about growing the knowledge and growing the experience levels of our fellow craps players.
In my videos, I've never asked people to subscribe to my channel, hit that bell notification, whatever. I don't do that.
It
I
just
don't
so
want that.
happens your phone ding just as you were saying hit that bell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect timing.
What I'm doing really is something which a lot of people might find boring because it doesn't give them uh, the sure thing to from A to Z, in 10 minutes how to make a million at the casino. This is not, what I'm trying to show people. I'm trying to show them that this is this is a very frustrating and long process to get to be good at something like throwing these cubes.
Yeah. When you're not
Indeed.
playing, when you're not gambling in Vegas, what do you like to do?
Well, uh, I have my wife that she organizes a lot of things in advance. Like we have bookings for restaurants like Mr. Chow's and very nice restaurants to go to with the children. Nobu, because we've been there so many times. I think the kids have been there 6 or 7 times already. They know what to do. They know where to go. They're not kids anymore. My oldest is 24, the youngest is 21. They know how to take off and go and do their thing. But we always book in advance for some concerts if they're around. During the time we're going to visit, we always book tickets, and we always watch the shows by Cirque du Soleil. I understand that they've gone bankrupt now, something like that. I've heard that they've gone bankrupt simply because their shows cannot be played anymore due to COVID. But I've seen each and every one of them. Some of them twice, some of them 3 times. So, so place where I stay was usually the Bellagio. The last 2 or 3 times I stayed at the Aria, the Sky Suites, basically at the Aria, and then I moved next door to the Vidara, which I found to be much cheaper. It's not a casino; it's just a hotel. So it was quite reasonable, but I think now I'm going to move back to the Bellagio again.
You've been playing this game for what, roughly 15 years or so.
Yeah.
What's on your
Yeah.
bucket list? What do you want to achieve with this game?
Um, all right. So I had this, target, which still remains a target. I have not achieved it, to be consistent at approximately, let's say, 16 SOR.
Wow, okay.
And yeah, something like a 10, 11 SRR. So that's a long way away, judging by the way I'm throwing these days. But yeah, that's the idea. As far as the craps chat is concerned, I just want us to become a bit of a network, more international, find more people around the world from different time zones.
Yes.
And, people can have friends where, if they go to a different state, they can always call them up and say, hi, I'm here. Do you want to come and throw some dice, or do you want to go out for some dinner, something like that? So it's becoming, I would like it to be like that, basically.
Okay, so there you have it. That was George from CY back in September of 2020. If you'd like to know more about George, you can visit his channel, and I'll put the link in the cards up here above us, and go out and check out his work. He is one of the most transparent people you're going to find on YouTube. He practices twice a day, about 70 rolls each time. It's live, it's real time, and you see exactly what the results were every time. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week. We'll be working on some short, abbreviated sessions of Talking Craps coming up. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave me a comment and let me know if you did or didn't, and we'll talk to you next week.